Hello. I must go down to the sea again, to the lonely sea and sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a great mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trip is over. Well, I found me a bit of a cave, so let's have something to eat. Don't know what the sound quality is going to be like. I'll test it. Collected some dry fuel. I'm going to use my IKEA twig stove, my fave. Let me show you what we've got on the menu. I found myself a nice little cave here, far from the madding crowd. We get a lot of stick as Brits for baked beans. A lot of the bushcraft guys over in the States, they think we're disgusting. But we love them over here. Students couldn't survive without them. Beans on toast, many's a student got by on those. But they are in fact imported from the United States. Apparently it was the Americans that started it all off. Specifically the Native Americans apparently had a version where they would bake beans in an earthenware pot with bear fat. They're definitely a bushcrafty thing. The settlers that arrived apparently made their own version, and there's a famous version, I've forgotten what part of the States now, I'll look it up. And traditionally beans were baked on a Saturday to avoid cooking on the Sabbath. So after the baker had done his bread for the day on a Saturday, the villagers would come round with their pots, with their little pot for baking the beans, and put them in the oven, and they would sit overnight. The beauty being that you can't really overdo them. And they would make those, and they would be kept warm in there. No, I think they would bake their beans, and then they would take them to the baker's oven to keep them warm for the next day. And of course, then Heinz got hold of them, marketed them, and sent them over to the UK, where we seem, you know, anybody that isn't rolling in money seems to be living on them, really. So don't knock them, don't knock baked beans, certainly till you try them. Don't eat them cold. Blech. You've got to cook them up a little bit. Once you've done that, you can't beat them. Let's get the water on for the coffee. That's the next thing. So I'm going to do my rosti. This cute little square pan that I save for just such occasions. Pre-greased. And I find the trick with these devils is that you have to get the pan good and hot, and then put it in there, and then do not move it. Don't be tempted to move it around and stir it up, because it sticks. They love to stick, these things. So I'll see if I can practice what I preach here. Do one of those. I saw Sean at Shovel Head 8 is doing a breakfast challenge. So I reckon this would qualify as a breakfast, although I'm a bit later than that today. I'd like to say hello to Ewan too. Thanks for coming by. Making right noises. Coffee. Well, I thought I'd choose something a bit different for a spot today. Nice little cave I found here. It's out of the wind. The only drawback is that in about 4 hours the water's going to be to the top of these rocks. So it's not an overnighter, not a good overnight spot, but a beautiful spot for now. Something else I recently cottoned onto that you can find in the cake making aisle: liquid glucose, which is essentially corn syrup, I think. Glucose syrup. Just saves playing around with containers of sugar. Just give it a squirt in your tea and that's it. Handy dandy. Another toothpaste tube. I reckon this must be ready. Right, gotta be time to dish up now. Not bad. Now, beans, a bit tricky. Not bad for a beginner. Oh, damn, he threw it all over me. Also could tilt the camera. What about that? Yummy. Well, I'm going to eat this and enjoy the view. Tide's coming in, so I'm going to have to vacate my cave if I want to stay dry. Not really the time of year for a swim, especially with a rucksack. If you came along, I'm glad you did. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, taste test, I keep forgetting that one. It's one of the pigs in blankets. Yummy. Very good. Good old baked beans. See you in the next one. Before you go, I must show you these. You can get them on Amazon and eBay, and it is in fact soap, but it's little wafer thin slices of soap. Obviously you've got to keep them dry in the little plastic bag, but it's just enough to wash your hands. Just wet your hands and then away you go with these. I drop a little piece in the pot, so I do my dishes with it as well. Isn't that amazing? So each little sliver is just enough to wash your hands. Maybe do a bit of the pots. Just thought I'd show you that. They're not expensive, and they're great to carry in your kit. You know, less trouble than carrying liquid soap or doing dishes and stuff. They don't really smell of anything, they're not scented. Alright, that's it. Also, leave no trace. There's my little cave. No scorch marks, nothing unnatural, zero residual presence.